So oops, sorry, my camera's shaking a lot. I understand. I was reading the comments in one of my YouTube videos, and someone asked this question, and it was more of like an overwhelmed question than a lazy question. It was like, how do I get accounting clients? I'm like, bro, you could watch all these videos on our channel, right? Like why would you ask this? Like literally below a video that's like a 30-minute tutorial on how to get clients, and I was so confused. But then when I took a step back, right, I remember when I used to like teach people in my local area like how to start businesses. Like I would teach like how to start an e-commerce business. I would teach like how to do like I had a couple therapists reach out to me to help them grow their practice, right? Then teach you how to do like accounting firms, and that was a question I used to get a lot of. It would just be like, how, and even back then it kind of stumped me. I was like, what do you mean how? I'm giving you step by step by step by step, and I think one key area to kind of think about is like it's not always about knowing exactly what to do. Sometimes it's about like learning what are the buckets of skill that you need to learn in order to be successful. So when it comes to this online game, right, there's really key core skill sets you need to have. And if you watch our channel for any time, you might have heard of some of these principles, right? But it's like, okay, so number one, okay, your pricing. Like if you can understand pricing, like pricing will people always ask like, what do I say in my consultation call and like my sales call? Oftentimes if you price your service correctly and you understand how to give an understanding of like a description or breakdown of your pricing, that will do 90% of the sales for you. Because if you give a low price, you need three, four, five times the clients what you do if you give a high price. And then if you can communicate why a high price is beneficial to the business owner, then they're going to be wanting to work with you at those high price points. So now you cut the clients needed to reach your goal by like a factor of three, right? So it's like so much easier to do. Now, the next thing is like, and here's another thing too. When I was getting started, I was like doing my numbers based on like trying to get like $300 or $400 a month clients. Like, if I get 30 clients at $300 a month, man, I'll be good. I'll be getting because I was trying to get paid every single day of the month. Like that was a big thing for me. I wanted like a payment every day of the month. Uh, but it's actually a lot harder in theory to do that. It's very hard in theory to do that. Now, it's not just that you can't get the clients like that, because you can definitely get a bunch of $300 a month clients. I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, like, to manage that many clients, it can be a little bit annoying, just a little bit to do. And, like, that's when you start needing to have, like, practice management software, or maybe you need to have, like, Trello or, like, Asana to kind of, like, do, like, workflows and different tasks like that. So it's like you might as well just have like clients at least at like 500, 1,000, $2,000 a month because they don't need quite as many clients. But again, that's learning how to like price, because here's another thing that most people don't think about. If you understand how to accurately price out your services, it makes it easier to know who to go after, right? So now it's going to make marketing easier, right? And I was talking about this on a call with a student yesterday, because they were talking about like certain industries they wanted to go after. He was like, I want to go after landscapers. He said like real estate, and then I was like, okay. So I'm in my mind, I'm thinking investors. When he said agents, I was like, oh, what? Or brokers. And I was like, ah. And let's imagine that he wasn't inside a mentorship program. What would have happened was he would be going after landscapers, real estate agents, and like he would spend like the next like 6 months to a year trying to get clients and wondering why none of the real estate agents want to pay him more than $1,000 a month. And they'd be like, Bryce, I watch your videos. You talk about your students getting like $1,000 a month clients or $2,000 a month clients, but like these real estate agents are not willing to pay me more than $300 a month. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, that makes sense. He said, what? I was like, well, think about it. What is the financial structure of a real estate agent? Like, how much do they make on average? And he said, well, I was watching on Facebook. This guy sold 30 houses in a year. I was like, okay. Now, is that normal? That's not normal for most people. So let's put it in perspective. So let's say the average house price is $400,000 outside the United States, and you guys are on my phone, so I don't have my calculator. So I'm just gonna give you some numbers. They might be on, they might be off. I did it yesterday, so they should be on. But okay, so at $400,000, let's say that they are going to get a 3% commission off $400,000. What is that? Is that 12? That's 12K. Let me get actually a real calculator. I want to make sure my numbers are precise, because some people cannot take things that are not precise. $400,000 times 0.3, we'll say 3%. That's about $12,000. See, my math is correct. Awesome. $12,000. This guy sold 30 houses in a year. That means that he did $360,000. Now, usually for that, they're going to have some sort of advertising expense. Just for the sake of simple math, we'll just do it like this, okay? We'll say that's $360,000. Let's say all of it went to the bottom line because he's just been working his pipeline so long. He just has referral partnerships. We'll say he spent about 20 grand advertising and buying leads this year. Okay, cool. We'll say he spent 20 grand. That means he did $340,000. If he was to earn that, what percentage of people inside the United States actually make like $340,000? It's about 3 to 4% of the United States. So just by that number, that logic alone, he is an outlier. So what that means is that most people who are in that profession are not going to be making that much money, right? So instead, let's say the average house price is $400,000 times, we said what, 3% is your commission, right? $12,000. A lot of these guys are happy to sell, 4, 5, 6 houses. We'll say they sold 5 houses, or we'll say they sold 6 houses. That's $72,000 a year. That's not counting if they have like expenses. That's not counting what they have to go and like take home. So let's say, okay, so $72,000. Let's say they're gonna be at we'll just say like they had some tax plans. I'm gonna say at 0.20. We'll say 23% taxes. So 72,000 minus 16. Sorry, 72,000. I'm doing my calculator over here. Minus, we'll round down to $16,000 in taxes. It means they have $56,000 that they basically can take home after taxes. And that's assuming that they actually were pure profit on the $72,000 they made that year. Most of them are not going to be that, right? So let's say that they're going to actually take we'll just take another $10,000 away just for advertising expenses and stuff. They are left with $46,000 in their pocket. Now, I don't know too many places in the United States if you're, a family of 4, right? Maybe it's 2 spouses, 2 children. I don't know too many places where you can get away with $46,000 a year without that being tight. So it's is there any room for them to even bring on a bookkeeper at that space? That's a person where you're gonna be fighting for a $300 a month client, and you're wondering why. But I thought real estate agents are the best ones. No. Whenever you're doing, let's say you're going to niche down, you have to niche down based on understanding of the actual industry. Do you know the profit margins do you know the average revenue most of the companies make? Do you know the average profit margin most of these companies are going to make? You can't go after a company or an industry because you're I think I'm going to make a lot of money there. Because there's going to be all these random intricacies that you just don't really understand about that industry that's going to cause you to really struggle. And that's the biggest thing. It's going to cause you to struggle because you just don't understand that industry. Now, that's number one. But again, if you understand pricing, you can understand what percentage of companies will actually be able to pay this price point, and I'll know, okay, I'm going to go stay away from this kind of industry, right? So this pricing is going to actually influence our marketing because what's going to cause me to stay away from bad potential leads. Right? So a lot of people think with marketing, it's just about just spewing out a message and going after whoever comes to you, right? But if you do everything where it's price focused backwards, right? I'm only trying to talk to companies that can afford to pay the price points I'm asking for. So I don't have to do quite as much work in the marketing side. I don't need to spend as much money on ads. I don't need to go and talk to as many people. I don't need to go and make as many videos because I know exactly who I'm talking to. And then once you start getting good at that, you can then filter your marketing message in a way that makes your consultation calls easier, right? So the only reason you really do marketing is to make your consultation calls easier. That's it. right? You're just getting people to know more about you as a person. You get them to like understand a bit more about like your skill set and like how you can help them out. Like that's all you're trying to do with marketing, right? Because then when you get on the consultation call, it's a very easy consultation call because like rather than it being you don't want your consultation call to be really like building up who you are in the person's mind. Like I don't want to be talking about myself. I don't want to have to go and talk about my entire career path and past history. I don't want to talk about like how long I started the company, why I started the company. Like they need to know this stuff before they get on the call. Because the only thing I want to be talking about in the consultation call is like, should they buy this thing I'm offering, or do they need to like wait and get more information? Right. That's really it. And like most people, the more that you do in marketing, the less you do on the consultation call. Because you could even do in your marketing, you could actually give them a breakdown of what your service actually is. That way, when they get on the phone, it's just like a split decision. Like, okay, cool, I either want to do it or I don't want to do it, right? And it's like you've done everything in your power to make the decision for them as much as possible before the call, right? But those are like the buckets of skills that you need, right? You need pricing, marketing, sales. You need to understand how to like really manage clients, right? So like, do you use workflows in your business? Do you use a practice management software, right? What does that look like? Do you have team members? If you have team members, do you give them each logins to your accounts, or do you give them like a LastPass access so they can't log in directly, right? And just like really understanding all these different things because that's gonna make it easy. That's gonna make your life and your job just drastically easier to be able to do this stuff, man. It's like I don't know. It's just crazy. Like when you really get to understanding all this stuff in this game, you just kill it. Um, yeah, my nose just freaking out. Yeah, I don't know. It's like the hardest part about business is that when you're starting out, you don't know what skills you have. But then there comes a times where you have so many skills that you can hit whatever goal you want. And then from there, it's about finding the motivation to keep either like doing new stuff, trying new things, or moving forward, while also staying focused on the thing that made you good in the first place. That's the key. That's the key. I think I'm super tired today. I don't know exactly. I'm gonna